The future is bright for the Dallas Stars, and today it's the Rankings Extravaganza on Locked On Stars. The top NHL prospects under 23, the most improved players, and we preview the Philadelphia Flyers. Tons to get into today. Let's jump into it next on Locked On Stars.
Your Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105.3 The Fan and play-by-play voice of the Chippewa Steel. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Yes, today is the Rankings Extravaganza here on Locked On Stars. Why? Because The Athletic dropped a few pieces. One about the top NHL prospects under 23 years of age and the most improved players in the NHL. There are stars in every single one. So I must relay that information. I do have some discrepancies too, because what else would rankings be for without the arguments? And also we will preview the Philadelphia Flyers as the Stars begin their 4-game road trip. Hour earlier tonight on the East Coast, 6 o'clock puck drop. Stars have been playing a ton of home games. So an hour earlier, just a heads up for that one. So much to get into today. Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday, and let's go ahead and jump in. But first, today's episode is brought to you by Jase Medical. Empower yourself when you purchase a Jase case, providing you with a personal supply of 5 antibiotics that treat 50+ infections. Get yours today at jasemedical.com and use code LOCKEDON to get $20 off your order. That's JASE medical.com. So we start here with the top players under 23, and they did a rankings list. They have different tiers. Connor Bedard's up there in tier 1 along with a few others, but I want to focus on the Dallas Stars who made this list. And the first one to make this list was at tier 4. Probably no surprise here, Wyatt Johnston. They've labeled this tier as NHL All-Star, and they also gave them some grades on certain aspects of their game. And right off the bat, there's already a discrepancy because they do grades for skating, skills, hockey sense, compete. They also have shooting for some guys, but Wyatt Johnston for skating, they have him at below average. And have they been watching Wyatt Johnston at all this season? And look, I understand he's no Connor Bedard or Jack Hughes, so to speak, who is like tier 2, but come on, below average for skating? And the other player within this tier is Matt Boldy. Give me a break. Below average? Just because he lives with Pavelski doesn't mean he's getting the skating from Pav. I thought that was a wild grade for skating. Anyways, enough with that. I think he should be at least average. He's not blazing people away, but the kid can move. His puck skills, he was graded above average, hockey sense above average, and compete at above average. Johnston continues to develop. This is what they've said about him very well and is an important part of a good Dallas team right now. He plays in all situations. Yes, he does at a very young age. Player with outstanding skill and vision. He makes so many tough plays with the puck on his stick through defenders or to his teammates. So Wyatt Johnston comes in at tier 4 NHL All-Star. I think he would be in a tier above if he had not been on this goalless drought or slump, so to speak, in the middle of the year. He got on the board last night, which was great with his 12th of the season, 26 points in 43 games this year, but he had 9 goals in the first 20 games. If he kept up that pace, I think it would be hard to keep him out of the tier 3, even tier 2. But Wyatt Johnston comes in at tier number 4. I still can't believe skating is below average. And maybe I'm wrong on that. I just think he moves very fluidly, and he's no Rope Hintz either. Below average is a bit mind-boggling to me. But either way, Wyatt Johnston ends up in tier 4, labeled as NHL All-Star. And yes, he's been so improved this season, playing in all situations. He's good on the PK now, where Pete DeBoer trusts him. Of course, he's been playing on the power play. His hockey sense is so amazing, and he does make some really tough plays look really simple. Taking a look at yesterday in tight in those situations in the slot, along with Rope and Robertson, making those little touch passes to each other. Of course, he had the feed on the Rope goal. Man, the future is bright, especially for Wyatt Johnston. He just needs to get that production rolling. And Pete DeBoer is trying to unlock some of that by playing him with different line mates. And they struck gold yesterday against the Kings. So Wyatt Johnston up at NHL All-Star. Coming in at number 29th. Wyatt Johnston was at number 10, by the way. So it's nothing to scoff at by any means. Number 29, it is Logan Stankoven. Yes, a second-round pick, 47th overall in 2021, who's having an amazing season with the Texas Stars. 41 points in 33 games, including 16 goals. Stankoven, a skating grade, high-end, puck skills above average, hockey sense above average, and compete, they have him at above average. It says Stankoven has been one of the best players in the AHL this season, following up a tremendous WHL career. He's a tiny forward, likely an NHL wing, but everything about his game is major positive. And yes, absolutely. He's playing in all situations a bit more down in Texas too, because part of the reason Pete DeBoer wants him to develop, along with Mavrik Bourque, is the trust factor. Can we play you as a PK man? Can you be on the penalty killing unit? Of course, he has the skill to be on the power play, but that trust factor comes in with Pete DeBoer, especially when you're talking about a toss-up against a veteran and a rookie. Who can you trust more in late game situations? Who can you trust more when you need to get a kill? And Stankoven is getting a little taste of that down in the AHL. I've mentioned this before too. He reminds me a bit of Max Domi and just his play, where he can move the puck and facilitate at an unworldly pace the way he does it. And he's kind of a pass first guy, even though he's leading the Stars in goals this season. But he seems to have a knack for making the pass first and just getting in those soft spots and finding pay dirt. I think he's better than Max Domi. I'm not trying to say he's Max Domi caliber or that tier. I think he will be better. And this tier, they have him at tier 6, is labeled as a top of the lineup player. Absolutely. I think he's going to be on the top line for years to come, along with Robertson or Johnston, Rope, whoever you want to combine him with. I think that's a lot of fun to think about. So Logan Stankoven comes at number 29 under 23 NHL players rankings, and not too far behind him. And this may come as a bit of a surprise, but Thomas Harley, who's 22, is 18th overall pick in 2019, comes in at 36. His hockey sense, they graded at above average, puck skills average, skating average, and compete average. Not too much of a discrepancy with that. I think his puck skills are a bit underrated for the size he is. Like, he's a big man. He's a bigger Miro, and he can move the puck and can stick handle pretty well in tight spaces. And sometimes when I'm watching him at the blue line and he's getting more confident now, you see him making that kind of shimmy that Miro does, the head fake, and he does it a few times. Oh, okay. Like he has some of that in him. And yeah, he's been so good defensively, the way he's improved this season. It says Harley has become an important part of the Stars, despite little power play time this season. His offensive play isn't flashy, but he's a very smart passer. I think that hits the nail on the head. Not a flashy guy, not sexy, so to speak, but he makes the right play, and he makes it most of the time. And on top of his defensive improvements, becoming the Stars' best defenseman this season, without Miro Heiskanen, of course. But he's closing that gap with Miro. Man, when we get number 4 back, it's going to be a ton of fun to watch these guys play together on an every night basis. And they've played a bit more as of late. He's also playing 21 minutes since December. 21 minutes, which is huge. He was averaging around 18, I believe, in the first 2 months. And then Miro went down, so he's getting some more opportunities. Also, they just trust him more to play him on the PK, even though that's exclusively Hakanpää and Lindell. He's playing a bit more, which is a great sign. Okay, not a ton of time here left on this segment, but I have to touch on two more. Lian Bichel is on here at number 74. Of course, he started the season in the AHL, and then he elected to go back over to Sweden. An update on him, he has 1 assist in 11 games so far this season. Plays on a pretty good team over there in Sweden. They got littered up and down with NHL draft picks, so we'll see how he progresses throughout the year. Of course, he felt he wanted to go back home and kind of improve his skills and development. The thing about the Swedish Hockey League, so to speak, too, is they practice a lot more than they play. And I think that was the appeal to him. He's still really, really young, guys. And I know people got a bit up in arms about him not wanting to develop in the AHL. And I get that to some degree. You want him playing against the best, especially in North America, where the stars can help him and continue to develop. But he's still so young. He had never lived away from his home, at least in North America, like across the pond. It was his first season. He's going to practice a lot more. It's kind of like the European basketball. They practice so much more than they play. In the US, the AAU circuit, they like play 8 games a weekend and they practice once. They practice way more over there. Look, he's going to be just fine. He'll come back over. And I think the Stars are going to be feeling really, really happy about his decision and their willingness to allow him to go back over there, even though they didn't really have a choice. It was in his contract. The last one that comes in for the Stars, Mavrik Bourque, 110th on this list. And they have him as a middle of a lineup player, which is kind of crazy since he has 42 points in the American Hockey League, which leads the American Hockey League, and he's basically running up the scores, it feels like. But above average on Hockey Sense and Compete. He's average on skating and puck skills. So those are your top NHL players ranked under the ages of 23, at least the Stars. I just wanted to touch it on the Dallas Stars. So Wyatt Johnston leads the group at an NHL All-Star tier. You have Logan Stankoven and Harley right behind him. By no surprise, those are going to be forwards and defensemen making impacts for years to come. So that starts off our rankings extravaganza here on Locked On Stars. One more rankings for you. The most improved players this NHL season. Which Dallas Star do you think made this list? It's the top 10. I'll tell you next in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Jace Medical. I know we come to sports to escape from some of the crazy realities of real life, but can we just talk a minute about preparing for real life? According to the FDA, pharmacies are running out of antibiotics like amoxicillin right in the middle of the worst flu season in over a decade, and that can be scary. You don't want to imagine feeling helpless when a significant other gets sick, of course, a child, and then there's a supply chain issue that keeps you from getting life-saving medication they need. Thankfully, with Jace Medical, you'll be okay. You've heard me talk about the Jace case so much before. It is a pack of 5 different antibiotics to treat a long list of bacterial infections, including UTIs, respiratory infections, skin infections, among others. And this could happen to anybody at any time. Visit jacemedical.com, complete your physician encounter. It will be reviewed by a board-certified physician, and your medications will be dispensed by a licensed pharmacy at a fraction of the regular cost. It's never been more important to be prepared than today. Go to jacemedical.com and use offer code LOCKEDON to get $20 off your first offer. The Dallas Stars taking on the Philadelphia Flyers tonight. You can catch the Stars playing the Philadelphia Flyers tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock Central. I'll keep it standard. I live in the Central time zone. Don't know why I said that. But anyways, 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. You can catch all of the action on SiriusXM on the XXM app. Just search Stars. Also, check out the Locked On Sports Today on YouTube, the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. Go over there to subscribe and take in all the top sports stories amongst the world. already, subscribe to Locked On Stars, by the way, too. Click that notification bell. Never miss an episode. Speaking of clicking on things, I clicked on this. The top 10 most improved NHL players in the league this season. There's a top 10 list. I scrolled down it. By the way, they left out some really high quality names, so to speak. So kind of your former superstars or players that have big notoriety and are having bounce back seasons. So Tyler Seguin is not on this list because he's having a phenomenal year. Absolutely. Tyler Seguin having himself a bounce back. 16 goals and 17 assists. Man, Seguin has been so phenomenal, and it's great to see. So, no Seguin on the list. Who do you think ends up on the top 10 NHL players most improved this season? Well, I will tell you. At number 9, Blake Coleman from the Calgary Flames. 10, they had Alex Lafreniere for the Rangers. Number 8, McTavish for the Ducks. Number 7, you have Joseph on the Senators. Number 6, Alex Vlasic on the Blackhawks. Number 5, Quentin Byfield, who the Stars just played. Number 4, Joey Decord. And then you get to number 3 for the Dallas Stars. Thomas Harley is number 3 on the most improved players this season. No surprise, but I love to see it from Thomas Harley. Number 3, it says the Stars have been searching for help on the top 4 blue line behind Miro. Dallas still needs an upgrade on Ryan Suter, but Harley's emergence as the team's second best defenseman has been a huge story. Yes, it has been. I've been saying it. We've been covering it every day here on Locked On Stars. You everydayers absolutely know it. It also notes Harley spent most of last season in the AHL, established himself as an everyday NHL player in the playoffs, and is now a top 4 fixture. He's one of the league's best defensemen at leading zone exits with control, according to Shutdown Line. Take a look at this number. This is amazing. This is awesome. Shocked me when I saw it. And I've seen some pretty crazy numbers from Harley this season where he ranks among the NHL. Most 5-on-5 zone exits with possession per 60. Quinn Hughes leads the way. Erik Karlsson, John Marino, Victor Hedman, and Thomas Harley is right behind him at number 5. 11.97 5-on-5 zone exits with possession per 60. Some of the best offensive defensemen in hockey. And Harley loves to jump on the rush. He's becoming a one-man breakout where he can get up, skate the puck out with speed. I love when he drives the middle of the ice, plays it off to a winger, and then continues to go towards the net. We saw it yesterday against the Kings, and he tried to pull to his backhand, and Kopitar with a great stick lift broke up the opportunity. I believe it was Duchesne who made that little seam pass and hit Harley, who was cutting. Those are the type of plays that makes Harley so dynamic, where you have to account for this big 6'4" defenseman screaming down the middle of the rink because he's trying to score. He is trying to make something happen. So it's been such a revelation this season. And as I mentioned, he's averaging 21 and 13 minutes in 21 games since December. Of course, with Heiskanen going down, he's been able to get a larger workload, and he has been so good as of late. Just so physical. He wins the majority of his board battles. He has great support for his other partners. He's becoming someone that Peter Bourque can trust and play him with anybody. So he's playing with Suter, Lundqvist, Hanley, and he just makes everybody around him better. And I think that is the real telling of a strong defenseman. And he has the defensive ability to want to play defense, so to speak. He doesn't just want to play offense when the puck is on his stick. He's a willing defender. Him and Miro are kind of similar. Yes, they have the offensive capability to be world class, but they don't use it as much as probably they could or even should because they want to be responsible. And I will always take that. I will always take that, being more responsible, especially with the issues this season defensively for the Dallas Stars. Harley, the third most improved player this season in the NHL. That's where they have him coming in. Ahead of him, by the way, they have Trevor Moore and Noah Dobson, who the Stars will see upcoming here on this 4-game road trip. So wanted to share some of those rankings for you, Stars fans. Let me know if you have any disagreements with some of these rankings. The Rankings Extravaganza of Locked On Stars. The only reason they make lists is for us to be really irritated by them. Talk about one list that came out, the top 10 catchers in the MLB. Jonah Heim wasn't in it. I know I'm switching topics here, but I'm wearing the World Series championship sweatshirt. World Series champion. It's not on the top 10 for catchers. Sure. I think they did that on purpose. Speaking of that 4-game road trip that the Stars will see Noah Dobson upcoming on, they begin it tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers. Torts is ready to rock. Let's preview those Philadelphia Flyers in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is also brought to you by Indeed. Indeed is driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree. Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed study. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/locked-on. Just go to Indeed.com/locked-on right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/locked-on. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Make sure to check out Locked On Sports Today, the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts on Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. It is awesome. Be sure to check it out. Want to thank everybody for joining me once again on Locked On Stars. Thank you to all you everydayers out there. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your concerns with the Stars. Let me know your predictions for tonight's game against the Flyers. Whatever you want to get off your chest and verbalize it via those fingers, put it down there. I love to read it. I love to engage with you guys. Having a ton of fun this week. Alrighty, busy week as well. Joey the Jet 19 on the Twitter/X thing. If you want to follow me there, throwing stuff out there every day. Excited for this one tonight against the Flyers, who are having a great season. I touched on it a bit yesterday. If you are an everydayer, second in the Metro Division for the Flyers, 24-14-6 this season. They are off to a great start. Won 4-2 against St. Louis a few days ago. And yes, they are head coached by Torts. Their power play is not very good, just 12% this season, but the PK is amongst the best at 86%. So special teams could play a big factor, and the Stars need to get something rolling on the power play. I don't think they've scored multiple goals on the power play since, when was the last time? I can't tell you, to be completely honest, when I'm looking at the schedule. Was it Minnesota? Well, I don't think they even scored twice against the Wild last week. So anyways, they need to get something going. This is a hard team that works hard and is grindy, right? Like, that's a Torts team. Had no expectations coming into the season. Nobody thought they would be in this position, and now they're pushing for a playoff spot. They did not play. Couturier did not play. Jamie Drysdale didn't play with a few illnesses on Monday, so we'll see if they're back and ready to go. But they're getting help up and down the lineup, starting off with their young guy, Travis Konecny. He's having a breakout season, 21 goals in the first 44 games already this season for Konecny. Farabee's another great winger, young guy, 34 points, has 19 assists on the season. They're just getting they're getting balance from everybody. It's really a lot like the Stars. The Stars have guys that have lit the lamp a bit more this season at a more consistent rate, but everybody's kind of jumbled in there right at the mid-20s. Couturier, Tippett, and Solheim, who's a defenseman who's had a phenomenal season, are all within 20 points. Konecny leads the way with 40. So nobody's just blazing the league this year, but it's a real balanced lineup. They kind of have all four lines that roll. They're getting much, much improved goaltending this season too, along with Carter Hart. He's already has 12 wins this season, 12-8-3, 2.67 goals against average, and a .912 save percentage. Carter Hart, along with better play in front of him, guys like Sean Walker, who I've mentioned before as possible acquisitions for the Stars on the back end. But look, Philadelphia at this point may not want to give anybody up the way they're going, and they're right in the thick of things this season. Cameron York is having a good season. He was a high draft pick from a few years ago, 15 points this year. So they're getting much improved play really everywhere, and Torts has got them rolling. So another good test for the Stars going into a hostile environment that Philadelphia usually is, but they've played well in Philadelphia recently. So hopefully it ends up with a win in the bank. This is an important 4-game road trip, an important next 6 games here to close out the month of January and head into the All-Star break. The Stars have a very tough schedule coming up in February. You're playing some top teams within the NHL that they need to bank some points while they can. And it starts here tonight against Philadelphia. Yes, they're a good team, but you match up really, really well. You have better depth. You frankly have better defensemen with Harley. Heiskanen may be back. He flew on the road trip. He will be on the team. He will be with the team, I should say, not on the team, of course. But so there is a possibility that Heiskanen plays at some point during this road trip. Who knows if it's tonight against Philadelphia. You got the special teams advantage. The power play needs to get rolling. They need to find their stride. Their shorthanded goals have been easy. They seem to be down a man. They have no problem. I guess they enjoyed the challenge of it. So, yeah, that's a bit about the Philadelphia Flyers. The Stars beginning a 4-game road trip tonight. A chance to pick up another 2 points after a very, very quality win against the LA Kings a few days ago. Let's keep it moving. I want to thank everybody once again for joining me today on Locked On Stars. Always a pleasure to be with you. I hope you enjoy your Thursday. I hope you enjoy Stars hockey tonight. I'll have a reaction, of course, a live one. We'll break it down all tomorrow, all the storylines, all the good things that are happening with this Stars team, and we'll finish the week off strong. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday and enjoy Stars hockey tonight. And we will see you tomorrow to wrap up the week. So long, Stars fans.